Alright, in this video I'm going to be using Zbrush to subtract forms using DynaMesh and ZRemesher. The advantage of this in rapid prototype land is that I end up with a mesh that has pseudo good topology still, and instead of having faceted, or not faceted information, but a bunch of triangles and Boolean cut information from other programs, I now have nice quads at the top. So here is the piece that I'm going to be taking into Zbrush. It has these two forms, and these are what I need to use to cut into the piece of geometry so that I have a nice area for this to bend in. So if I went like this, put it right here, and rotated this piece, it would not touch this piece. Okay, so I'll export this piece of geometry, which is made of 3 parts, into Zbrush. Ooh, as an OBJ. This is my mid. Jump into a Z-sphere to reset this stuff, and import that. Do a little frameage. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to go into subtools, have that active, go down to polygroups, have that open, auto group it, turn on polyframe. I can see the nice colors here. Okay, now I'm going to use Shift and Control, then Shift and Control. I want these two forms to be one subtool. So I go Group Visible. Hold Shift and Control again. Now I have 2 separate subtools. Go to Subtool, and I'm going to do a split. I'm going to take this one, that kind of oddly looks like a tooth, and do a DynaMesh to it. Now I find that if I go in here and divide once, it gets rid of all the faceted information. So now it's nice and smooth. DynaMesh, and I'm going to use a resolution that's pretty high because I'm going to be using ZRemesher anyway. There we go. Now notice it went back to the faceted information. So Control Z. Up above, if you delete your lower, that will not happen. There we go. Alright, now that it's a DynaMesh, I want to use those other 2 forms to subtract it away from it. So there's these little buttons. Again, when you hold Control, there's nothing about these little buttons anywhere. So you click this button. This is the Use as Subtraction feature, I think. But that's how it works. So here, we could take this piece, and now go down here to merge it together. So I'm going to use merge down. Alright. Then I'm just going to go down here to geometry, DynaMesh, and use subtract. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. Now the topology on it is something to be desired because it's made of billions and billions of polygons, and I can't use that for rapid prototyping. Okay, so how do I fix that? Well, you go down to ZRemesher. I use adaptive, and I'm just going to hit ZRemesher. Later on I'm going to end up decimating it anyway, but at least this way I have something I can take into an external program. Okay, now if you go to Polyframe, there we go. Perfect. Exactly what I need. Alright. And I just go right back to my Blender. I'll move this one out of the way and then bring that in. So I hope you enjoyed the how to subtract. I know this is one of those things that really there was a lot of people, a lot of videos using the insert brush, and the problem with using the insert brush is you don't have really technical any way to put the object exactly where you need it to be to subtract it out using DynaMesh. This way you have perfect control over where it needs to be placed. So I hope you enjoyed.